Welcome to the Fitpreneurs, the show that will help you flex your business muscles so you can make more money and live the life you really want. No more complaining, whining, or being a wimp. It's time to pump up your fitness business and push yourself beyond your comfort zone. So no girly men or lazy ladies allowed. It's time for me to do some push-ups and turn things over to your host, Simon Lovell.
Hey, this is Simon and welcome to the latest episode of The Fitpreneurs. And as always, guys, if you enjoy the episodes, head to iTunes. Also head to the website, fitpreneurs.com, where there's loads of webinars, blog content, lots of case studies, inspiration for you to be able to grow your fitness business. And as always, I'd love to share amazing success stories. Why? Because they can they can inspire you to grow your business. You know, specifically, what have been the steps to take a fitness professional to, six figures and beyond, and most of all, impacting and changing more lives. There's lots of key distinctions that everybody has. People do things differently, and depending on where you are in the business at the moment, it's going to give you the inspiration to move forward. And today's guest is Joseph Webb, who is all the way over in Yateley, Reading, in the UK. Now, of course, I'm over in San Diego, so I haven't been actually back to the UK in a while. How is the weather over there?
It's pretty great. Yeah, it's pretty great over here.
So,
like California.
So, Joseph, first of all, congratulations on your success. I'm super excited to share the story with you. I want to get right into the meat of things. Let's go back to, when you first got into the industry. What was that turning point for you? What was that decision to decide to be a trainer and to help people?
Originally, I was playing ice hockey in Bracknell, which is also near Reading. And I decided I wanted to do something active. I've always played sports. And I decided I was working at the rink as a steward. And then I found out that there was a job going in the gym. And that was really as simple as the decision was. I thought, right, okay, it's going to be more hours, potentially earn a little bit more money. I'm into fitness anyway. And that was how I started the process. So I got involved in the gym from there and got my qualifications all on site in the gym, and then just never looked back from there. That was over 10 years ago now.
And so when you came into the Fitpreneurs environment, you were doing pretty good numbers. So how long had it taken you to get up to those numbers? And let's create the timeline so that people can understand, how long it took you to get to the number that you came to the Fitpreneurs on, and then how things ascended so quickly. And we'll talk about why. But I want to bring people up to the point of when you decided to come into coaching.
Okay, so I first started doing JW training, my company, in 2009. I was working full-time at the gym that I got qualified out at the ice rink. So I started working with the general manager there, and he was just coaching me a little bit and saying, why don't you try and get the qualification? So I said, okay, great, and I did. He gave me the confidence to do that. And then he started talking about, well, why don't you start to try and get some clients? And that's when I came up with, JW training. I was like, well, my name's Joseph Webb. I'm going to do some training. It was as simple as that. That's how it started. And that was 2009. So in the first year, I was working full-time at the gym and then also doing JW training. And I took 4,340 pounds. I'm looking at the card here because I've got the numbers for each year. So I was still working full-time, and I took 4,000 pounds just doing diet plans and helping people out. That was 2009. And then went on 2010, I managed to double that, still working full-time at the gym. And then that was 2010, which was 12,000, so over double. And then we jumped to, go on.
I was just going to ask, it would be good for everyone to watch know, were you doing, one-to-one? Or what was the breakdown of the revenue? Because it's really important to talk about time versus income as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. It was just one-on-one, purely one-on-one, and selling diet plans. And this was all based off knowledge that I was acquiring from reading books and going on courses that I'd acquired from my PT qualification. So that continued 2011, 2012. I kept doubling from there. 2013, 2014, and it was in 2014 that I decided I would go full-time on my own and leave the gym behind.
What drove you to keep pushing up your income? Because I think so many people stay stagnant on the income that they're in and only have a certain level of impact. What was your driver to want to continue to push?
To be honest with you, I mean, we spoke a little bit about this when I was with you in San Diego. But for me, it was being bullied as a kid and always being told at school that you weren't really up to much, being in bottom set for things, being just placed in this environment where you weren't even really looked after. You were just left, look, this kid's going nowhere, don't worry about this kid, you know. And really all it was is that I had zero confidence. So when you have zero confidence, you tend to just go inside and you just stay quiet, and you maybe manifest an attitude problem that is covering up for how you feel. And that was me. You know, even while I was running my PT business, it actually got me in a lot of trouble, getting arrested often. And it wasn't until I was like 24, 25 that I actually started to take the business seriously. And that's when, go on.
What were you arrested for?
Oh, fighting, always fighting. And that was because I was so scared. I was so scared of what people thought of me was the biggest thing. I'm so scared of what people thought of me, and I was convinced that everyone was out to get me. And I think that stems way back from being bullied. And I then built a physique to sort of keep people away. And, you know, if I got a big physique, then no one's going to come near me. That was kind of my theory. But it was actually the exact opposite of that. So the fighting was appearing in ice hockey because it's quite a physical sport. So I would fight a lot in that. And I got known for that, or playing a rougher game. And then that came and spilled out onto the streets. Lack of self-control, getting arrested often. It got to a stage where if I got arrested again, I would have, for anything to do with fighting, I would have done some jail time.
How did that affect your personal life and your relationships?
Just destroying everything. You know, it's complete self-destruction. That's why I resonate with your story. It's different circumstance, but the same thing's happening. I'm just destroying my own life. I'm so angry at myself, but I'm hitting out at others and destroying relationships with my family. Girlfriend at the time who was besotted by me, and I was just awful to her constantly. And it all stemmed from how I felt about myself, but I just didn't have the awareness. I didn't realize that at the time.
Awareness is so critical, you know, catching yourself. And I think that comes from more and more self-development that you do. You know?
I agree. And it was so, when I got arrested that last time, I just said I was done. So although I've always had drive to sort of show people that I'm not what people told me I was, like stupid, you know, a moron, I wanted to prove to people I wasn't that. And so it's time for me to change. So I focused a year on self-development, reading as much as I could, gaining as much information as I could. And that took me to leaving the gym 2014/2015.
What self-development did you start to do? What books did you read? What courses did you take?
So, oh man, I mean, I've got a bookcase behind me. I was literally just going from one book to another. Started with me with like an NLP book, because there was, lucky enough for me, there was a life coach at the gym who just got me to think differently. He started that process of questioning, making me question why I was acting the way I was. He didn't say to me, why are you doing that? He asked me specific questions that were powerful that made me go, hang on a second, maybe there's a different way. So I think I just put all my energy into self-development. So Think and Grow Rich is a big one that I remember listening to a Bob Proctor speech, and he spoke about Think and Grow Rich and said he's been reading it every day since he was 26 when someone gave it to him. And that resonated with me because it was like, okay, I can follow that. That makes sense to me. Just read the book every day. Do what the book says, and good things will happen. And that just opened up self-development for me completely. As I read that book, more and more suggestions came into my mind of, you should go here, you should try that, you should do this. So then I went to Speakers Club because one of my biggest fears is public speaking. I'm still not amazing at it now, but I'm a lot better, and I know I can improve it.
So the key is you took action.
Yes, started taking action. Even if I fell on my ass, I would just keep taking action. Then I hit a ceiling on my income where I was working 80 hours a week. I was completely burnt out. But, you know, I'm listening to like Grant Cardone and all the guys that are Gary Vaynerchuk's, and I'm like, oh, fuck it, you know, I'm just going to keep hustling. I'm just going to keep going. These guys are talking about work a full-time job and then work through the night if you have to do it. So I've got that work ethic nailed. But I just thought to myself, hang on a second, I just had a son, 2015. And that was the big change for me. I said, something's got to give. There has to be a better way. And the whole time that this self-development journey had been going on, I couldn't tell you how I got in touch with you, but I'd started following you. I'd put your posts first on my Facebook, so they appeared first on the newsfeed. And I just sat and absorbed what you were saying. It was resonating with me because I know you're big on self-development. So what you were saying was resonating with me because I was, reading similar books and doing similar things. So, and then it just, I think I always knew that I would, but there was a lot of fear there with investing. And I actually invested, as you know, in the Fitpreneurs.
Just before we talk about the investment and stuff, I want to hover around this area of fear around investment. So you'd already done self-development. You'd already been following a lot of people. You'd already done some courses. You'd been following me for a while. Where was the resistance? Why was the resistance there? How long did it take for you to pull the trigger when actually you had the possibility to do it, but you just weren't willing to move? Because this is relevant, not just in what you've done, but also for anyone watching, how prospects show up in your own business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it? Well, how long did you hover for?
Man, hover from around sort of investing with you guys.
Yeah, from knowing that you could to actually making this decision and having the courage to push through the resistance. Because this is where the gold is. If you look at all the self-development and you look at the key decisions that we make, there's a decision-making process.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been realization after realization in stages whilst reading. So we have thought patterns, which, based on our conditioning as we grow up and what we're exposed to, right? So I was from a family that, always talked about lack and always talked about money being hard to get. It's difficult to get hold of, or it's tight this month. And we would hear that all the time. So there's that conditioning. When I started self-development, as you know, Simon, it starts to give you that, what's that? Is that true? Isn't that true? And there's a skepticism because you've got the old conditioning, but you're hearing all of this information that seems incredible and it gives you energy. Self-development gives me so much energy.
And it's addiction. It can be an addiction.
I think I might be suffering from that one. But, I think there's worse ones. But
better to be addicted to reading and Think and Grow Rich than fighting.
Yeah. It definitely, I know which one's working out better for me, that's for sure. So I've gone off, I've forgotten where I was now. Can you remind me where I was there?
So we were talking about hovering over the decision to move forward. Yeah,
so you're dealing with that resistance all the time. And I'm sure a lot of the fitpreneurs that are thinking, shall I, shan't I? Dealing with that old conditioning of, just come on, hustle on, keep going. And they're reading because nowadays everyone's exposed to so many different entrepreneurs and coaches. So they're listening to one guy who's talking about, hey, you just need to work on sales. And another guy that's saying, hey, just work on this. And another guy that's saying, don't worry about any of those. Just do that. And for me, it was like, I was the guy that was like, yep, sweet, I'll listen to that. Oh, sweet. And what I realized is after a year, I'm actually just going around in circles learning, but I'm not taking any action.
Right.
And the realization came that, hey, I've got to take some action for something to happen here. And that's when I said, I kept seeing your stuff and you were talking about the process, the whole process. And I was getting individual areas from different people that weren't even in the same industry. Whereas you are in the industry and you were talking about systems, and I kept hearing systems, and I'm thinking, I'm working 80 hours a week. I could do with knowing a few things about systems, because I'm drilling myself here. And it got to the point where...
How is that affecting your personal life?
I'm just burnt out. And I work on my mindset so much. I was getting up at 4 a.m. every day because I was like, I'm going to read 2 hours a day because I have to change something. And that's the truth. I was getting up 4 a.m. I still up at 5 now, but 4 is a bit extreme. But I get up at 5 because I like to read every day, and I don't want that to be taken by anything else. And I always remember like Arnold Schwarzenegger and people saying, Tony Robbins, they get up and they start their day looking after themselves first. And I said, right, okay, I'm going to do that.
Right.
Look after myself first, and I'm going to do those things. And I did that, and then I just got to a stage where I was getting up at 4 in the morning, but I wasn't going to bed till 10. Half 10, was barely seeing my other half, but I would say to my other half, Georgia, look, you understand why I'm doing this. I really want to make a change. I'm trying to do something.
You're doing it for her?
Doing it for her, doing it for me, doing it for my son. I just had to make it happen. I was just trying to figure out a way, but then I'm thinking to myself at the same time, this can't be it, but then I'd hear a motivational speaker say, oh, you'll keep going and you'll feel like you're on your back and then you'll have a breakthrough. And, so things will lift you up. And that I was running off that stuff. That was the only thing that was keeping me going. If I wasn't reading, I was listening to audiobooks in the car. I was just completely trying to change my mindset completely and entirely and surround myself with people that were doers. And I did that through audio, through listening to you guys. And then I got to the stage where it just clicked. And I said, I need to move on this. I can't take any more 80 hours weeks. I'm ready. It was almost like I said to myself, I'm ready to do this. I've got the skills to do it. My business was doing 8,000 a month, but I was dying to do it. I was 80 hours a week, and I just thought, my son's here, you were there, and you were consistent. And that's the big thing for me is the consistency. Someone showing up day in, day out, that's someone I can follow and I can learn from. And also someone that's done it. That was a big thing for me, that you've done it and you've been through it. So I was like, right. And I just decided I didn't actually have the money because I was spending money all the time on self-development and spending money on different things just to keep going and keep growing. And then, so I went to a client and I said, hey, look, I really, really want to do this course. I sat him down, I wrote out like a proposal of everything, told him when I would pay it back, and did it that way. He said, yeah, let's do it. It's going to change. So
this is, I'm going to use the word hovering again. I want to hover over this, which is so many people use the excuse that they don't have the money.
Yeah.
But you became resourceful because you wanted it badly.
I did. I had to do it. And I think everyone needs to ask themselves that. Like, the realization I came to is, what is the worst thing? Get out of your own head for a second and just look at yourself as if you're not there. Like, you're just looking at yourself as a body, and you say, what is the worst thing that's really going to happen by me asking this question of my client, right, and putting this proposal together? Right. And it turns out that it was a yes, and turns out that yes changed my life.
Right.
So,
how long have you had the relationship with this client for? Like, what was?
I've been with this client since I started. I'm 29 years old. I started when I was 18. He was he was there straight away. He was the first guy to see me grow from day one. Right. And he was happy to do it for me. And he's so stoked now.
What an amazing person.
Yeah. Oh, he is an amazing person. He is. And we still train together every Monday and Thursday, 7 a.m. So he's a good guy. And I owe a lot to that guy. He let me take that first step. And like you've said, you have people in life who are another step up the ladder, and they just give you their hand and say, yeah, okay, if you're willing to work, come up.
Because most likely he saw something in himself in you.
Yeah, he that's what he said. He said, you're a worker, you push. And he said, you just need. He said, this because I explained to him your programs and what you do, and he said, this is what you need. And so he said, it's all well and good, you working hard. You can work hard all you want, but if you're it's almost like climbing the wrong ladder. You're working hard, but then you're like, shit, I'm up against the wrong house, And it's just a slight adjustment. You're at the same height, but completely different climb. And it's just been amazing.
All right. So I know that we want to talk and share to everyone, maybe conversations that were had in San Diego, key turning points. Yeah. But what happened after that investment?
So after the the investment, and you had was it Product Mastery Live, right?
Yeah, 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days in San Diego.
But you come in on the virtual coaching program. That was an additional thing you did. So yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah, I came in on the Fit Pro Mastery. A couple of weeks in, me and my other half, Georgia, she made a commitment as well. She said, right, she took a leap too. She was an accountant by trade, which is really handy for me. And she decided, right, you're making a commitment, I'm making a commitment. So we just cut all strings and just went out to see, she said, I'm going full time for you. I'm going to work on the systems, help you with that. So we sat down together, we looked at the program, we got super excited because she'd been there every day with me when I was banging my head against the wall, trying to find a way. She'd heard me expressing things, expressing questions. And so now she could see all the links from the program that you provided.
What was the aha moment? Having listened to the webinars, the blog posts, reading books, like what was the oh shit?
Well, when I got the program and opened it up,
like what was was it sales training? Was it the system stuff? What was the big the shift?
The sales training was huge, absolutely huge, and the systems. Those two things were just invaluable.
Why?
Because it completely turns on its head how we are taught in the industry to package things, to sell things. The way you teach people to look after clients, look after their customers, the whole process of it, the systemization of getting a client on board, taking them through the sales process, bringing them into a program and actually making them feel like they've made the best investment of their lives rather than just selling them 10 sessions for X amount, and just saying, right, see you next Monday. There was more to it. It was a process. They got looked after. They got, selection, follow-up emails. And it was I just love the way it was taught because me as a customer, that's how I'd like to be treated. And I think that's important. But when you've got a barrage of different ideas because you're reading so many different things, it was nice to just have something in front of me that step by step took you through the whole thing, and the sales and the systems were just phenomenal for me.
Had you been through the All Fire Up program at that point or not?
I had actually, yeah. So much has happened that you're actually reminding me of things that I'm forgetting. So I run a fitness boot camp in Spain. We went out there in May, and I was actually doing All Fired Up while I was away, and that was awesome. Me and my other half did it together, and it was just awesome. I loved it. So we did that first, and then we came back and jumped on the plan. So it was a great way to come back in with momentum and just hit it hard when you got back, because it just cleared a lot of mist, a lot of, what's this going to be like? And it just got rid of all of that, all fired up for me. And it got me focused on what I wanted to do, where I wanted to take the business.
So before you came to San Diego to the Product Mastery Live, had your income started to ascend, or where was the big shift where you started to just go up and up and up?
I'd made a couple of sales, but interestingly enough, when I got Fit Pro, we spoke about San Diego 4 or 5 days after, so I knew that was coming up in a week or so's time after I signed up. And because I had a business that was giving me 8,000, but I was overworked. So it was actually, I just wanted to sit with it initially. I know some people go straight in and they just blast it straight away, which I could have done. But I just sat with it and wanted to look at it, wanted to digest it, because I was so happy just seeing that everything that I'd been looking for was in the package. So for me, that was the thing. And then I went to... What
was the big system that was the biggest game changer for you?
I think the sales, the how to sell, the way you teach was the biggest thing, because any trainers out there might be able to resonate with me. When you're thinking, at the end of the day, we're trying to change lives, but we're also trying to provide a lifestyle for ourselves. We see other trainers on Instagram and all over the place doing these great things, and you think, well, how is that happening? And it's just knowing the system of how to scale a fitness business. The way they teach you in most of the training in the UK, it's like having blinkers on. and you can see everybody else when you turn your head, but you can't figure out how to get there yourself, because it's like there's no one out there teaching you how to do this stuff. I haven't found it. And I've got like 200 books behind me, 200 audio books on my Audible, and trust me, I was trying to figure it out. And I couldn't find that system to put together. I'd heard of a few different things in the States, but
what did your price points or how did your selling change after going through that training?
It changed in a lot of ways. It changed mostly because before I was just getting people in for a consultation, sitting them down, talking to them about their goals, rather than having, 2 or 3 or even 4 packages that might best fit them. I was just talking to them, building rapport, but I wasn't serving them as well as I could be. So what you teach is like the doctor frame. So you're helping them. You're prescribing them the best program for them, what they need, which is a big change of mindset.
Yeah. So you are now closing more consistently and at a higher price and for a longer period.
Higher price, getting far better results, which is one of the things you said about investing at a higher level. You've got more skin in the game. 100% true. I'm able to serve clients better. I've got more time, getting more sleep. So I'm a better trainer all round. Everyone wins. Everybody wins. The client, you, everybody.
How are you able to cut your hours so much?
Because it's training people in groups.
Yeah.
People in groups. I was training people one-on-one. And I mean, now we will have 8 people working together, say 3 times a week. So I train them 3 times a week. So 8 hours, that would be 8 hours a day, 3 times a week. And now it's 3 hours. 3 hours.
Right.
So if you stack that against all my clients, I'm working like 15 hours a week. I like to work. So don't get me wrong, I'm going home, I'm still working, but I'm able to grow my business. I'm able to focus on scaling it.
So now you have a new sales system. You're selling people into packages. Instead of one-to-one, it's semi-private, and you have the system so that you're cutting your hours. And so that's what you're talking about before, which you said the process.
Exactly. Yeah, the process. It's life changing. I mean, I don't know what else I can say to people out there listening. It's as simple as that. It's such a small investment for such a big return, in my opinion. I'm super happy. It changed I was working 8 hours a week. So you can imagine anybody who's working even close to 8 hours a week will understand going to 15 on the gym floor, what a huge difference that is. It's just nuts.
Now we'll talk about the income that you've now got to and the tipping point and turning point that you've reached. But I want to wind back to San Diego and what happened there, because I think that's a big turning point for you. And we can share, I think sharing not only what happened, but also the realization that you had that could really shift someone on this call.
Okay, yeah, I may miss some things on this, Simon. So please feel free to remind me from your perspective. But when I went to San Diego, I was coming off the back of, as I said, I'd only looked at the product and I was very excited about it. I could tell that it was going to change things. But then before I knew it, I was on the plane. So I was still, I was burnt out. I was still coming off the 8 hours, came over to San Diego, but there was hope. And I was like, okay, great. I'm going to go to visit Hustleville, spend the weekend there and see what it's all about. But it was just an interesting, it was really difficult to explain. As soon as I got to San Diego, I just felt my energy was wrong. And it was really difficult for me to tell where that was coming from. And I was trying to control it from all that I'd learned from sort of NLP and self-development stuff. And I was like, okay, just calm down. Let's do some meditation. And I just kept getting more and more. And when we actually met out the front of your house, my energy got worse. And I'm struggling a bit to explain it. It was really difficult. And then obviously met with the other trainers and they were all awesome and really nice. And the content that you were teaching on that weekend was detailed content. It was awesome, but I just couldn't get out of my funk for the whole weekend. I was just overwhelmed with this this energy. And we went out to dinner so that was I think, was it the Friday we came in or Thursday?
Can't remember now.
Yeah, so whatever. I came in for a day. I was feeling like that. It seemed like an eternity. It was probably only over a day. So we came in on the Friday, went over to the Saturday, all day feeling like it again. I was like, Jesus, I don't know how much more I can take of feeling like this. I haven't felt like this for a long, long time. I didn't realize the last time at the time. And we went out to dinner. You took us out all to dinner, and I was just sat at the dinner table, and I was just like, I shouldn't be here. Like, I just don't feel comfortable being here right now. I just felt completely, it's really hard to explain. I just didn't feel myself. I just felt like I was somebody else. The anxiety was through the roof. And I remember I looked across at you, and you just looked at me and said, meet me tomorrow morning at 8:30. Because as soon as you said that, I nearly shattered into pieces, because
you knew I
knew
knew.
That you knew. I knew that you knew. I knew that you could feel it, because I'm a huge believer in energy, just like you are, and I felt it. So you obviously felt it, and you were just like, I need to have a word with Joe about this. So the next day, I came to the house 8:30, and you just took me to one side into the meditation room, and I could barely keep myself together before you even spoke, because it was just like, I knew that you were going to call out whatever was happening, and I didn't really realize myself. But it just came. When you did the intervention with me, I just broke down, and the pain that came out of me was just insane. Just it was a killer. It was just down to the core. I haven't felt like that since.
But you got it out. That was the thing.
Absolutely, and I hadn't felt like that since I was at school, and it was right back to being bullied at school and not feeling good enough.
Right.
And I think as an entrepreneur or whatever, as a business owner, you say, I'm going to do things my way, and you go off and you do things your way, because that way no one can really tell you what to do anymore. You kind of just do your own thing, and if you can make it work, great. But I was in a room of other people that were doing the same thing, and they were kicking ass as well, and I was comparing myself to everyone else, and I decided in my mind that I didn't stack up. Right. It wasn't true, but I decided that was true.
Which goes back to a lot of the reasons why people could become trainers in the first place. So this is exactly the same psychological issue.
Yeah.
Is the sense of wanting to protect yourself and wanting to like you say, just be comfortable in your own shoes.
Yeah.
And so the tension and the anxiety came from you jumping ahead, creating stories in your head around who you were and who you were being and what other people were, and your expectations around who else was in the room, and maybe like partly being around me.
Yeah, no, it was completely 100%. Like I'm not ashamed to admit that it was. When
the truth is that I'm just a human being too that cares.
Yeah, for sure. I just did. My head was, and I think that we all can resonate with that. When your head just goes round and round, you can't see the wood from the trees, and you're trying to calm yourself down, but you're just convinced of something that simply isn't true. And
do you remember what happened when I said to you that I was going to get you to talk about your challenge in front of everyone?
Oh man, rock into pieces. Like, it's just like, I can't, Simon, seriously, I can't, man. And you were like, dude, that's what you got to do. Trust me, it'll set you free, And I had to pull myself together. I had to spend 5 minutes with the Buddha there and bring myself together to do that. And it was, do you know what? When I did it, everyone in the room started sharing their truth, Mina, just everybody. And then you're like, oh shit, man, we are just human,
Right.
It was awesome. And it was just like clearing of everything, and everybody it was just great. It was really good, powerful. And
that's what we call a shift. That's a point in transformation.
Yeah.
What happened then going back in the business, and what changed then?
From there, I just had the realization, like you said, that people are just people. And at the end of the day, it's just about me working on what I believe in. I can't worry about what other people think and what other people are going to say, because mostly everyone's worrying about their own stuff. So I just then focused, did everything that the program said, worked on it every single day, and guess what? Everything happened. So the first month, I think we went from 8 to 16 in the first one. Second one, we got to 20, and then this is the third one. And we're on track for 30K.
Wow.
So, I mean, and I've still got time left in the program, and it's changed my life. I mean, I'm living in Yankee at the moment, and this wasn't somewhere I wanted to live. I mean, the house we're living in at the moment is tiny because I was working crazy hours, reinvesting in myself all the time. And now this is a small 2-bedroom house. We're about to move into a 4-bedroom house just because of this program. It's as simple as that.
How has it affected your relationship and your, not just personally, but other people too, and just how you feel about yourself? Just
insane. Just my confidence, the way I am with people. Back to energy, you could feel the energy wasn't right with. It's exactly the same when the energy is right with you. You know, everybody's gravitating towards you. Everybody's asking you, what are you doing differently? What's going on? And it's improved my relationships with my family. I'm just able to do little things for my mom, my dad. I've got the freedom. I've got control. I've got a business that's scalable. I can just turn up the marketing if I want to scale it, and I can turn it down if I need to let it cool off. So it's having that control of a business. Whereas before it was like, if I stop, it stops. And that's why we just keep going on the hamster wheel, because it's like, yeah, I'm on an 8K, but you're killing yourself for 8K. Whereas now I get to spend time with the boy. You know, I'm able to move. One of my goals was to move there to Henley, and that's where we're going now. That's where we're going on the 16th of November. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for this program.
Now, I'm sure there's some trainers watching this going like, I want some lead gen strategy. I want some something that I can do right away to get results. And, what would you say to, what would you say to that? If someone's looking for like a strategy or something, because I know that you were probably in that place of watching stuff and doing stuff, wanting a strategy.
Do I have to give a strategy, or can I just say what I honestly think?
Well, yeah, and that's what I want you to say. I want you to either give a strategy or just say what you honestly think.
Well, what I honestly think is people need to just invest in the program, because I was the guy who wanted all the strategies. I was the guy that wanted the latest marketing strategy. So then I'd go and study Dan Kennedy. And then I wanted the latest, and then I realized, okay, yeah, but you can market, then you need to learn how to copyright. So then I went and bought John Carlton's package for £800. So you can't, in my opinion, you need to invest. It's an investment in you, but you need to invest in something that you can actually use to generate more revenue so that you can grow in different areas and actually bring people into your business that can do things better than you can. If I was to give someone a strategy, just go, make sure you're developing yourself, make sure you've got your marketing in place. But ultimately, there's so many things you can do. And the biggest change for me has been this program. So I can only give advice on what's truly worked. And for anyone listening out there, it's a tiny investment in comparison to what you get back. So stop wasting your time trying to learn everything when really what you need is a system to get the result you want. And then you've got extra revenue coming in. You've got choice. You've got freedom. You can make a decision and say, okay, I actually am very interested in sales. I want to go focus on that. I want to learn about that. Fine. But to chase around everything and, I'm going to do this strategy and try this strategy, when you've got this right here, the Fitpreneurs that you can just use and plug in and utilize, it wouldn't be fair if I didn't suggest the best thing to do is invest in the program, Fitpreneur Mastery.
What's your plan for the future? You talk about a new house, you talk about, what you're doing now. How have your plans changed now that your income's changed?
Everything has changed now because I can actually think. So I'm making clear choices now, because I've got money coming in consistently. Whereas before I was always thinking about chasing my tail, making sure I was ready to pay bills, ready to get to the next month. Or what else did I have to pay? What was going to be unexpected? Now it's like, okay, what can I do next? And I've already started. We don't move till November the 16th, but I've already started, based on some of your advice of connecting yourself. I've been in Henley for the last 4 weeks, connecting myself with people in the fitness industry. We've got a gym that we can expand to, expanding location in Henley. So we've got a location in Bracknell, and we're going to have another location in Henley. So I'm able to utilize the gym that's already there, and then from there we're going to studio in Bracknell, which is where it originally came from. So lots of exciting things happening.
Cool.
Sort of February.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for the story, Joseph. You've been an inspiration. What's your favorite quote and your favorite book? Well, I know your favorite book is Think and Grow Rich, right? Is there a quote from that you like?
There's lots of quotes I like. I think the best quote that I could give anybody, and excuse me for swearing, is just fucking do it. Like,
or I think Richard Branson has a book of a similar name.
do it, just do it. That's right. Yeah, I got that on the shelf. Just get on with it and do it. Stop procrastinating. Just get on with it. Invest in the fitpreneurs and get it done. That's my advice. That's my quote.
Thank you, guys. If you're watching and you enjoyed the podcast, head to iTunes, subscribe. Also, head to fitpreneurs.com and apply for your free breakthrough call. We will see you at another episode where we'll be sharing more. I'll be sharing more case studies from six-figure fitpreneurs who are not only changing their business, changing more lives, but also changing themselves, because ultimately transformation starts with you. I'll see you on the next episode.
Guys, thanks for the killer episode. Listen, if you want to take your fitness business to the next level, eliminate your competition, create ultimate freedom, buy new houses, cars, which could blow up, travel the world, or open your own gym where you can lift really heavy weights, then head to www.thefitpreneurs.com/free call for details on how to apply for your free accelerator call. Until the next episode, hasta la vista, Fit Pros.